Internationally, lawyers make many things: textbooks, treaties, institutions. But one of the most important things that lawyers make is non-law. What do I mean by non-law? Well, I'm talking about all those things that we understand to be other than law, or to be opposed to what we take law to stand for. Think of a submachine gun, for instance. What would it mean to say that a submachine gun is made by or of law? What would it mean to say that a submachine gun is made by or of international law in particular? Well, let me show you 3 ways in which that might be the case. First, the manufacture and testing and sale of a gun will most likely be designed to conform with a number of international standards. Expert bodies such as the ISO produce standards for military engineering, and the UN produce protocols for record keeping around the distribution and sale of guns. Second, the use of a submachine gun in a military or law enforcement context will be informed by another set of international standards. In 1990, for instance, a UN Congress adopted basic principles for the use of force and firearms by law enforcement officials. And third, the use of a submachine gun in a military and law enforcement context is in a continuous feedback loop with broader cultural practices, such as the use of guns by criminals and private security agents and by actors on our television and computer screens. And those are subject to still further regimes of international standardization. So in these and other ways, it's possible to say that a submachine gun, both the physical artifact and the cultural artifact, is crafted by law. And as one tracks the legal crafting of a submachine gun and its use, one encounters all sorts of ideas about the human body, about technology, about politics and violence and criminality. And because of the extent to which our global daily life is informed by law, these seemingly incidental byproducts come to exert tremendous influence. So if we want to understand the role that submachine guns are playing in contemporary global life, and perhaps even think about changing that, it's not enough to understand what the law says about the lawful making and use of guns. One needs to also study all that the law tells us about the non-lawful use and making of guns and the non-law around the submachine gun. The artist Georges Braque once said, when he was frustrated by a collector insisting upon pointing out the objects in his work, "The space between the picture and the dish, that I paint also." Well, international lawyers are painting that space also, the space of non-law, and we need to pay much closer attention to the way that they do so.